Hello. Today I've been asked to speak to you about movie posters. More than that, I have to discuss the movie posters and what makes them appealing, from their colour schemes right down to the fonts they've used, typefaces, and how they've been presented to us. We were asked to use 3 or more movie posters as an example, and we were given 3 slides, 9 movie posters in total. So I thought I'd take a look at as many of them as I possibly could before I have to edit this together for class. First, we were asked to look at the Corpse Bride. Now, the Corpse Bride poster is very dark in its colour choices, using a monochromatic colour scheme. I believe that the colours used in the poster are to reflect the themes of death within the movie. Fonts used within this are also used to be creepy and unsettling, to show that the movie's not quite what we would be used to. I believe there was a good use of the Fibonacci sequence in this poster as well. As the characters are framed in the moonlight and the only real colours present are because of the moon's glow, we are drawn to the tagline within the moon. If you follow that tagline to either face, it's a very symmetrical poster, so it could be argued that this was a symmetrical choice, but I believe that you follow that tagline, then you follow it into the male lead actor's face, then you get the names of the artists that are portraying the voices for the characters, and then you will follow it back down past the wedding dress, and all of your title information and movie studio information is present. The next movie I was asked to look at was Pan's Labyrinth. Once again, the dark colours denote the darkened nature of this piece. Font selection I find to be very organic, and the tails from certain letters curve and curl into the viney dead plants that are encompassing that archway at the top. I believe the spacing of the lettering, and I believe the spacing between the lines of the lettering are very important. They're close together, the letters almost twist into each other without touching, but almost. I believe it's the gaps we're supposed to see in this backlit effect. I believe we've been given a very literal Fibonacci spiral. If you start with the title Pan's Labyrinth and then follow those deadwood trees round, you will be greeted by our main character. Follow it up to the top of the archway where you can see it's a scary face, and you've got the moon, which is the source of the light. You follow the spiral back round, you get to see those Academy nominations and all the information of where you can find the film online, studio information. I don't think they were very secret with their Fibonacci spiral here. The next poster that I need to look at is Disney's Aladdin. No. The crap one. That's better. For the colour use in this poster, I believe they used a triad colour scheme, mainly some deep blues, very rich reds, and some gold yellows, just to bring out that royal feeling for the theme of the movie. Aladdin is a street rat who wants to grow and join royalty by the colour usage for this movie poster I believe to be in the triad scheme. I believe they've picked some very deep blues, some very rich reds, and some very beautiful gold yellows to bring out that royal feeling. Of course, in the story, Aladdin is a pauper who falls in love with a princess, and the princess can only marry into nobility. So he makes a wish and becomes Prince Ali. In the poster, they've illuminated Aladdin by immediately putting him in that rich red colour right in the centre of the picture, holding a golden lamp which is glowing and sparking. I believe that is the start of a Fibonacci spiral of itself, where you would follow that round and you'd be able to see the gold and riches, and then it will move up and you'll see the other stars of the film, ending with Will Smith there, and of course we'll end with the title, Aladdin, in a very golden and handwritten font, meant to give that kind of Arabian kind of feel. Of course, it's set in the fictional city of Agrabah, which is Arabian. The letter spacing is very close together, which I believe is there to give the impression that it's very quickly handwritten in cursive. Now, very monochrome colours in Batman vs Superman. The only colour present really is the colour of the emblem, which I believe is the focal point. There is 2 characters on there and they are very recognisable, but so are the logos. The Superman logo is iconic. The Batman logo, iconic. You stick them together and you've got something people are going to stare at. I believe the colour usage of black and white is very much to show the battle between the solar-powered superhero and the vigilante of the Dark Knight times. This has always been about light versus dark, hope versus struggle. Just that never-ending black versus white. There's gritty textures added to the white background, which I believe is to tell us this isn't the Superman and Batman you were brought up with. This is a gritty new imagining. This is going to get dark, this is going to get ugly, and they're going to fight. The title is present on this poster, Batman v Superman, and of course the subtitle, Dawn of Justice. And I don't believe it's needed at all. This is one of those movies where everybody can look at it and see, oh my god, that's Batman. Jesus, that's Superman, and they're gonna fight. I think the title is there purely to idiot-proof the situation. In case you can't tell by the picture, they are going to fight. This is Batman v Superman. They are gonna get it on. The fonts they've used are very plain, Arial, bold fonts in a capital structure, very spaced apart, just to broaden that experience, make it seem like a very big thing. Underneath it, they've done the very same with the subtitle, but they've made the font slightly smaller. Obviously, subtitles tend to do that. It's not as important as the main characters. It's just letting you know a tiny bit of the plot. The spacing between the 2 lines is broken up by an underline, which could possibly also be a lens flare, just to show that this is going to be a cinematic masterpiece. It wasn't, but it could have been. Unlike a lot of the other posters I've talked about today, I don't believe the Fibonacci spiral applies. It may do. I mean, it could be argued that it starts in the middle of the Superman logo where the lens flare starts. Then you go out, you see Superman's face, then Batman's face, and then at the bottom you've got the details. Or the other way around. Perhaps it's 2 Fibonacci spirals, just facing each other. Maybe it's just symmetrical. I believe it's more a symmetry thing than trying to adhere to a Fibonacci sequence. Next we have a movie that I am completely unfamiliar with. As far as my education on this movie goes, my entire education on this movie is this poster. So this might be an interesting way to see how my analyses go. So from the poster I can see it's a very bright movie. There's going to be a lot of a carnival feel, maybe a Cinco de Mayo feel, or a South American Day of the Dead feel to it, judging by the skull motif, because you have a skeleton man there. And I believe there is a Fibonacci spiral sequence in there starting about the boy's guitar, because that seems to be the brightest point of the poster. So if you were to start there and then just swirl outwards and you get the boy in the skeleton's face and then let it come back round again because I'm lazy and can't be bothered to go that way, then you'll come back to where it says Coco in cinemas Boxing Day, because I've got a different poster than the one I was supposed to do off the slide because I'm stupid. But anyway, they use a very bright colour sequence, lots of bright fireworks in the sky, lots of party atmosphere going on here. But I still think they only used at most a double complementary colour palette. There's still only real focus on yellow, goldish, blue and a little bit of red. They do play with the values of those, but I believe it's either triad, possibly double complementary, no more than that. The lettering in the title seems to be very close together, almost in that of a conga line or a dance, just to give it that kind of party atmosphere. And the letters seem to be rotated in different directions to give it like the image that they're kind of dancing, they're moving letters, they're having a party. This is fun. With Dumbo, I cannot think of a more American poster than this could possibly have been. You literally have all those red and white stripes, and then in the blue bit you put all the stars. That is the most genius idea for pandering to an American crowd I have ever seen in my life. The star of the show is dead center, and then you can spiral out from there, and you can literally see the Fibonacci spiral forming in front of your eyes. You see Dumbo, you follow his right ear, there you go up, you see the title of the movie, everyone who stars in it, and then all of their faces as it comes back around. Then you get all your production company information, all your stars, and when it's coming out. It is perfect marketing. Disney knows what they're doing up and down. They've used 3 colours, red, white and blue, which aren't technically a scheme. I suppose you could say that the white is a very faded off yellow. They've messed with the value of that, but I still don't believe it adheres entirely to any particular colour scheme that I know of. The lettering for Dumbo is written in such a way that it was used in circuses back in the 1920s and 30s, and it looks like it's been painted onto wood, and that wood has cracked over time. It looks like it's been painted on the side of a circus train cart, and that's just amazing. Also, they've managed to space it far apart and give it big bold lettering, and use the font which is very typical of circuses like the Ringling Brothers and such back in the day. And they've just arched that text ever so slightly, so it just follows that spiral, so it just keeps you following that eye line. It's very good use of text, very good use of colour, and subliminally very American. Monsters University. Now this one took a bit of time, because I took a look at this one and I immediately thought, there's no Fibonacci spiral here, this is a mishmash of colours, it's all over the place. But the more I looked at it, the more I saw it. The main characters are the only ones in any real colour, blue and green. It's Mike and Sully dead centre, and all the others are awash in this kind of mash of purple and maybe a bit splash of yellow. So they stand out amongst the crowd, literally. Not only that, you've got this building behind them and you've got the sign. Well, I think there's a very literal Fibonacci spiral going on here too. You see your main characters, you go down and you read the title of the movie, Monsters University, when it's coming out. Then you follow that spiral up and you see some of the crowd. By now you might have forgot the title, but oh my god, here it comes again. The title is back there, right across the top of the archway. It shows you everything you need to know, sometimes twice. This is genius marketing, but also quite messy. I think the colour schemes they've used are very washed out because of the way they've been used together. And if I was looking through posters, possibly DVD covers, I would look at this one and it wouldn't pull my eye in. I think that this needed something else. I think that this needed something to make it stand on its own. This poster in particular was not the one. They do have other posters which stand out a lot better, but this one fell short. The font they used is fantastic. They've stuck with the typical Monsters Inc. kind of font for the word monsters at the bottom. You can see it, it's clear, it's very on brand for Disney. And then they've used a very typical Letterman American University kind of font for the word at the bottom, University. You know what you're getting. This is going to be a story about Monsters Inc. in an American university kind of style setting. Now, Skyfall. Skyfall's poster, monochromatic, total monochrome. Discounting skin colour, this is a monochrome piece. I don't care if his suit is slightly blue, they have used monochrome colours here. They literally place him on a spiral. If you start at the gun and follow that spiral round past James Bond's face and downwards, you will find all the information the poster has to give you. James Bond has so many films and had so many features over the years, they're not really banking on new fans. What they want is their core fans to see what they're going to get, and this is a James Bond film, and here's when it's coming out. The font and text they've used, I find the Skyfall logo to be, it stands out. It stands out very well. It's spaced apart, the letters are spaced apart quite well. It's big, it's bold, it's in your face. It's of the same colour scheme, so it's not going to interfere with anything. But my problem with this poster is the spacing between Skyfall, 007 and all the production information underneath it. It seems very, very cluttered. Not only cluttered, but because there's 3 different typefaces. 4 if you count the words coming soon, but I don't know whether this is the same poster as on the assignment, so sorry. But all of those things being cluttered in one place down at the bottom. I know it's industry standard to put all that information at the bottom, but with Skyfall and 007 squeezed above it as well, it feels too boxy. If I were to use this poster, I believe I could have offset James a little, put him to the side, just moved him over to the right or the left and put Skyfall vertically to show the letters literally falling. That is the word, Skyfall. If you put that word up the side, it's going to be eye-catching. People are going to be, what's that word? They're going to turn their heads, look completely insane. But it's eye-catching. It's a new James Bond film. You could have spaced those letterings out so much better. Now, for my own film, Mentally Yours, after looking at all these, I've come to the conclusion that I already analysed a lot of these things in the past in smaller projects, even to do with art and design and things like that. I never really thought about it to the extent I have today, but I will definitely be keeping it at the front of my mind when it comes to my assignments. Now, for Mentally Yours, I'm currently making an animated sequence. I'm just going to pop it in here just for the sake of, well, I'll keep talking over it. But this animated sequence is very unfinished. This is a very new thing, but what I wanted was the light bulb to swing in and show you the words and swing back out, but I don't think I left it on there very long enough. I gave it a very grungy texture on the word mentally because that's the word I wanted to stand out as being the damaged part. And with yours, I wanted it to be like the end of a letter where you would sign yours sincerely or forever yours. You know, so it was kind of like a letter to the mentally ill. So I'd taken this into account. This isn't my final logo, but I can see, and you'll be able to see, that this has always been something I've been interested in. And hopefully, with all the lessons I've had today and all the research I've done into these particular movie posters, I'll be better at it.